Okay, I want you to pay attention to the presence of the impossible light activity that remains. This is an ongoing ceaseless threat, an ongoing ceaseless act of terrorism by the public entity that is engaging in surrounding you with a terrorizing environment, serving their criminal system. And this is documentation of, again, not only the people of the state that live in relevant position to me at third-party facilitating venue Alvarado Gardens. You are paying attention to what it is that I've documented. The people of the state that live in relevant position are monitoring me while they surround me with this terrorizing environment, an ongoing, incessant reminder while I'm physically indisposed inside of the private space, engaging in private activity, that the entity has placed me under and continues to place me under surveillance in the same way that the Los Angeles Police Department continues to remind while they fly over my apartment and follow me as I walk around on the property, and while they fly over my office while I'm in my office, and the entity is maintaining a light source. Under no circumstances is this a natural environment. Sunlight is not going to be magnified, reaching into closed blinds and appearing on moving on your wall. This is the documentation of the people of the state who surround in relevant position on Ewing Street, on Brandon Street. The entity is engaging in what is group stalking on a massive level, and it is also relevant. This is information that I have uploaded to the Google Drive, but I just want you to see because it's an ongoing criminal act, and I am documenting a massive entity all at once in the same way that they are monitoring all at once. Anywhere that I go, the entity follows with the environment, and you have what is living in relevant position. The people of the state are group stalking by living at their residence, which is in relevant position to the facilitating venue. In other words, this neighborhood, within the radius, you have what is massive monitoring. That's why you keep a light source that's rising and setting in alignment to where I live, the targeted individual. And everybody that lives in relevant position to this environment that the entity maintains around me is being simultaneously documented, serving for the massive prosecution of the people of the state. While they engage in acts of terrorism, as you see, the real-time change of the environment. That's a communication of a threat. How? Because first of all, it's serving a criminal system. Second of all, because it's a phenomenon. It's not naturally occurring. So while the entity is monitoring you and monitoring your ongoing documentation, they are then communicating a threat. The entity is, this is the demonic. It is a supernatural act. They maintain real-time knowledge. You also know this. This is also deduced from the criminal acts of I was about to say the Ontario, but yes, it is the Ontario, but specifically right now it's the Los Angeles Police Department who is acting on behalf of the state. The Los Angeles Police Department engages in what I like to call real-time reactions, meaning as I document the people of the state that live at, let's just pick one who's going to be prosecuted. Let's go to a group stalker who lives at in relevant position to me where the entity is practicing terrorism and group stalking, living in relevant position. I want to capture, hold on, let me let you see this while I go through, because this is uploaded to the Google Drive. The people of the state that live in relevant position, this is the purpose of maintaining the engineered light all over their properties. Okay, the engineer, they live in relevant position. They live in the environment, the facilitating venue. Just want to be clear. So the third-party group stalkers that live at 1883 Lakeshore Avenue, they are simultaneously being prosecuted while the Los Angeles Police Department is flying over my apartment 15 to 17 times a day and all night, aiming what is impossible light activity. And this is established as a matter of fact. This is scientific. It's not reasonably questioned whatsoever. This is what I mean by a concession, and it's direct evidence that's going to be used against the people of the state who live at 1883 Lakeshore Avenue in relevant position, because this is a state system of group stalking and monitoring. This is why they are acting through what is supposed to be the natural environment. It is not the natural environment. It is serving what is a massive monitoring system. It is a communication of a threat. The people of the state, I'm going to let you know how this works. The people of the state that live at 1883 North Lakeshore Avenue in Los Angeles, California, are engaged in what is massive monitoring while they live in relevant position. You do not have any legal form or constitutional right to live within the facilitating venue where a state is operating a criminal system. And it is the prosecution of the state, but you can and you will identify the people of the state by virtue of presence in that environment, which is criminal. Star Construction is present facilitating audible activity as the people. They're acting on behalf as an entity. They're not present as individuals. They're present as the state. This is how the state system operates. The entity surrounds in relevant position. 1883 Lakeshore Avenue is where the state is living in relevant position because the state is maintaining a facilitating environment. And it is that which is entirely unnatural. This is why I show you the multiple shadows. This is why I show you the light show that the demons like to provide. This is evidence that I'm going to use against the people of the state that live at 1883 Lakeshore Avenue, because you have no constitutional basis to be present and facilitating in any way a public entity's operation of a ceaseless system of group stalking and monitoring, which is a threat to the life, physical safety, and overall well-being of an American citizen. It's a violation of their constitutional human rights. You don't have a constitutional basis. The whole malice of the system is that the system is supposed to exist within the natural environment, and I have systematically broken that down. There's nothing natural about it. And while they continue to threaten me as I document it, while the LAPD continues to threaten me as I document it, all right, while the entity engages in ongoing demonic behavior, pacing up and down the stairs, creating a facilitating activity. I'm speaking about the demons that are acting via the people of the state Star Construction Companies. In engineered light, they're group stalking in plain they are acting on behalf of the entity, and that is serving for the prosecution of the people of the state that are at the address, which is third-party facilitating venue 1883 Lakeshore Avenue. This is the conversion from what would be an American citizen's private residence to what is the state that is living in relevant position, group stalking where they live, group stalking at the grocery store. It's not a business that's being operated legitimately because the facilitating venue moves where the target individual moves. This is already documented. And so what the entity does, you're talking about a massive prosecution against the people of the state. Everything that the Los Angeles Police Department does, the people of the state are doing in concert. And this is how you are going to prosecute a corrupt government that is monitoring you in concert with the people of the state. There is no individualization because the entity is not stalking you as an individual. The entity is engaging in group stalking. It's occurring in the environment. Wherever you go, that's where the environment goes. And it is not group stalking by one person. 1883 is in the shoes of the state, living in the specific environment where the entity is maintaining the light source, where massive amplified audible activity is consistently maintained both by the people and by the state. As I document the entity engaging in it, I am prosecuting the people of the state and all of the addresses that live in relevant position to where the crime scene is at. They all live in the crime scene. They being the people of the state. So you're going to pay attention to the documentation that I uploaded. These are the people of the state that are identified in relevant position. And this is the nearby residents. This is a radius with regard to the people of the state that are engaged in this massive monitoring system. And this is evidenced by the specific environment that is maintained here. All right. And the evidence serving for the prosecution of the people of the state. This is just one because I got the whole. You're talking about Brandon Street, Lobdell, Lakeshore, Ewing, Avalon. They're in relevant position while they are driving all around, while the LAPD is flying in relevant position, while they're amplifying audible activity. This is serving for a massive prosecution of the people. And in addition to that, you have what is the database. The target individual that is diligent enough to identify the people of the state that are placing them under surveillance, the entity that is acting, they will be named on a database with regard to this malicious state system that's in operation. They don't have a constitutional right to live in relevant position. They don't have a constitutional right to engage in any facilitating activity. It is the breakdown and prosecution of a highly malicious system that's operated by a secret society, and everything that they use and weaponize, exploiting what are constitutional rights, which would ordinarily exist. When you see the malicious environment that is necessarily and systematically maintained around the target individual, it is serving for that joint criminal action by everyone around. And you will be identified in the shoes of the state while you live in relevant position. All they are doing is maintaining presence and massive activity creation on an ongoing basis. And this is how you have what is not possibly occurring at the same time. The light source that remains over 408 West G Street in Ontario, California, apartment number 51, not over apartment number 2, not over apartment number 73. The light source is captured directly over the top of my head, that is in its pure zenith, and rising in alignment to that apartment, setting in alignment to that apartment, such that sunlight is appearing on the inside of that apartment while I was there, and I documented the maintenance of sunlight inside of that apartment all day long. Both are impossible to occur at the same time. The sun would never remain over one single apartment address all day long. The entity is engaging in a specific pattern of conduct, and it was serving for what was massive monitoring there, while the entity maintained that light source, which is outside of the nature the natural environment, it is the documentation against the people of the state. And so you have what is documentation of that entire apartment complex, for example, Woodside Senior Park, every single last one of them that live at that community. All right. The entity is acting through the people. That's why it's maintaining an environment that is facilitating that criminal system. And they're doing it through what are the demon-possessed law enforcement agencies who are corrupt, facilitating that. They're supposed to be the threat that stops you and protects them. It is absurd, patently absurd. And so this is serving for what is ongoing documentation that shall be used for the prosecution of the people. While the entity is maintaining light on the ceilings, maintaining multiple shadows inside of my personal space, the purpose is, the reason is, while you have the light source rising in alignment to me, and engineered light all over the people of the state that live all around in relevant position, the entity is engaging in a pattern of conduct. And while the people of the state go about their business driving away, the light source doesn't remain over them, it remains over me. The sun does not remain over everyone, everywhere that you're going all day long. That is speaking to what is again, another impossibility. And what I have documented is that which is impossible to be experienced by anybody in any other state. And where you are documenting, where you are capturing, by the way, a light source that's in the sky in any other state, what it is speaking to not the fact that it's possible, because it remains impossible. You're breaking down what we are discovering as the American people who are genuinely ignorant about what's going on. You are discovering many of the fallacies that we've been told about our environment and really the reality of the demonic. But what's relevant is that the demonic is engaging in criminal targeting. All right. And it is a specific condition. And this is the ability to massively document, to massively prosecute those that are living in relevant position, group stalking. So in other words, this as you touch the screen. In other words, as I walk down Lakeshore, the light source would be nowhere over Alvarado Gardens. It would be right over my head. And this is how you know what they are. The environment follows you wherever you go, and they live in relevant position, and they engage in facilitating activity. All right, they are engaging in the pattern of conduct in concert as the entity. All right, while they target in that specific environment. And so this is uploaded. This is speaking, and I've documented this before. In Upland, California, I documented a massive amount of the people of the state in Upland where the entity was maintaining the light sources. I documented the people and the neighborhoods and the addresses. This is serving for what's going to be, the ordinary target individual does not have to document to the extent that I have. All right. They could just document their family who's monitoring them. And for example, say they were illegally arrested or something, and that would be fine. You can prosecute. But I am serving for what is going to set precedent. And I'm also going to make sure there are a massive amount of identified group stalkers that are going to be added to the database. And it's just necessary as a matter of justice with regard to letting the public know about what a government is doing in concert with the people. This is the same neighborhood that is in relevant position to me. As I walk outside, they're creating amplified audible activity, and the Los Angeles Police Department is flying in relevant position to them. They're creating facilitating activity together. Everything that they're creating was simultaneous to what I do as I do it, while the entity is maintaining inside of my personal venue engineered light. All right. And the fact that they live in relevant position to a targeted individual is serving for what is their prosecution. You're not living in relevant position as an individual. You're in the shoes of the state. And that's why that environment surrounds you. It is currently 4:27 p.m. and that's a synopsis of what I have documented. And the entity that is engaging in failing at protecting the people of the state. This is why you have what is the phenomenon of the flashing of light against my wall. I am on the third floor inside of an apartment. Not only is there no sunlight that would appear, not only is there no sunlight that would appear magnified through the blinds that are closed in the upward position, not only is this sunlight that would not appear, this is the same bedroom where the entity is creating where there is no sun visible whatsoever in the absolute shade, while the light source is on the upper side of the apartment. Don't forget, the entity is on this wall, multiple shadows of my arm. The blinds are on the ceiling, multiple shadows on all of these walls over here. So there's no confusion about what this is. It is under no circumstances a natural environment at all, okay? And this is, again, an ongoing concession. It is open terrorism. It is serving for what is impunity and malice. This is a threat to your life while they are in your face letting you know, yes, I am monitoring you. Yes, I am group stalking you. Yes, I know that you're documenting it. And yes, I'm going to continue to do it. They're not doing it by themselves. They are the people. And while I expose not only their criminal act and their condition, demon possession, the entity engages in conduct like this. Immediate real-time adjustment of the environment where it's not even a natural environment. That's a threat. It's not even naturally occurring. Sunlight is not shooting like a laser through little holes in the through little, that's not the natural environment. And sunlight under no circumstances is light going to appear in a square and you can see my shadow like I was showing you yesterday on the 20, I believe yesterday was the 28th, yeah. And under no circumstances. And then on top of that, while I'm speaking to the demon possession, the entity engaged in flashing light across that manifestation of light that was in the shade. So like I said, this is an iteration of the same terrorizing pattern of conduct. And it is relevant to all of those who live in the neighborhood. And so all of these addresses, this is the people of the state that live in relevant position that are monitoring me right now while you see the evidence of it. It's going toward the prosecution of all of the people of the state that live in relevant position. Everywhere where that engineered light is covering all of their property. It is the specific environment. And not only that, I've documented while they are crossing path in real time, engineered light moving across the surfaces while those demons drive all around in relevant position. That wall right there, that's directed light, first of all, on that wall. But second of all, while the demon-possessed drive by that wall, I have witnessed and I've already documented, well before now, I've already documented while they cross path, the pattern of engineered light moving across the surfaces while they cross path, all right? They're group stalking, they're living all in relevant position, engaging in the same demonic behavioral patterns. So this is the exposure of a massive system that remains underway. And I want to be clear, when you are living at the crime scene, all of this is a crime scene. This is a state system, and it's a massive state system, and they being the identified. When you are able to break down and recognize the venue that they're in, it exposes everyone. And these are many of the addresses that you'll see uploaded on the Google Drive, and they are all being documented simultaneously. All right, it is serving for what is a massive prosecution, and there is no constitutional excuse. You don't have any constitutional basis. They're monitoring with the L 4 hours a day, engaging in what is crossing path monitoring with them. They are in the same specific environment. They are covered in the evidence, would not be rising over here, and then it's remained stagnant in the same place. It's outside of my bedroom window now. They are living in the same specific environment. It is the P.O.C. You do not have a constitutional right to live in relevant position. The government is utilizing the people in order to group stalk an American citizen. That's exactly what the system of group stalking is. Okay, it is currently 4:31 p.m. and this documentation of the people of this federal court, federal prosecution nobody is going to remain a mystery. Who you are, where you live, your address, and all that. No, that's not going to remain a mystery. I am doing my own due diligence. I am documenting now on my own and identifying them because when I ask for as a matter of justice and what I advocate as far as policy, so as far as doing the work and getting that justice, that's what I'm doing. As a matter of justice, this is what I advocate, and this is how you get that done. So you document third-party group stalkers, and they'll be added to the database after federal prosecution. And that's why I'm documenting, because they're monitoring here, and they will be added to a database while they live in relevant position. They're delivering packages in relevant position in the specific environment, okay? And it is currently 4:32 p.m. where the entity is maintaining engineered light inside of my bedroom. In doing so, as you saw, my upright shadow and magnified in size, it is upright while the blonde, it's a cloudy day is what, those are the circumstances. But like I said, engineered light remains 24 hours a day and night. You're paying attention to the environment. It's engineered light. It's not sunlight. The light source remaining is serving for what is the illusion for what is a secret system that's underway. Because that light source in the sky actually has nothing to do with the light that you see inside of my apartment or inside of my office or all over the asphalt. It's an implausible and unpersuasive form for what is engineered light. This is the demonic that's being revealed to you, the demonic. Very, very demonic, because you know sunlight doesn't do any of the things that I've shown you that this engineered light does. It's breaking down what is the illusion. In the same way that these lollipop lights, they do not shoot light up and like a laser into what are closed blinds, creating anything that would be on the ceiling. Not at all. Okay, it's an illusion. So you're separating what you see. This light bulb is there, but it is not creating any light that's going to appear on the ceiling or creating light beside the windows, the shape of the windows appearing on the, and sunlight is not creating both light activity on the inside as you see in my bedroom, but also on the outside, on the buildings, as you also see is the pattern of conduct. That's how you know what they all are out here. That's how you know what they're all doing. And it's supposed to be a secret society, and it's not. It's not secret anymore, and not only that, their identity is not secret. I am documenting all of their addresses while in real time they know exactly what I'm doing. That's why they engage in real-time acts of hostility, such as flashing directed light in my bedroom on the 3rd floor, such as changing the environment in my bedroom, which is a phenomenon. It would never happen, but it happens in real time as I document this entity. They know exactly what I'm doing as I'm doing it, okay? And all of them are being simultaneously documented at the same time. While, by the way, it is a massive prosecution. So at a macro level, you're prosecuting prosecuting the state. I have gone so far to name those who will be identified as group stalkers after federal prosecution. Okay, it is currently, again, 4:34 p.m. The people of the state are out here on the streets, crossing path, patrolling. This is what the psychopath does here, the weirdo, the one person, but group stalking is a massive group system. So you have this being accomplished by a group. They're all in their cars driving back and forth on the street. This is what the demon-possessed do. That's a targeting system. All right, and while they live in relevant position, you remain surrounded at all times. They keep you surrounded by a specific environment. This is P.O.C.